Hey everybody, it's time for another Mini Mondays, and today I'm going to be doing a video on my top 5 guilty pleasures. Now this is the option that won out on my Twitter and Facebook posts, so I will be doing my top 5 favorite animated romances sometime in the future, but for now it's Guilty Pleasures Day. So, without further ado, these are the top 5 things that, while I do enjoy them, it does kind of make me feel a little bit weird that I do. So let's take a look, shall we? So number 5 is Disney's The Lion King 1.5. Now the reason I put this as the first option is because it's kind of debatable whether or not I feel guilty about this, because while I personally do think that the movie is subpar, there's a lot to like about it, in my opinion. I watched it for a long time. Now this is an in-between-quel to Disney's The Lion King. So it tells the story of Timon and Pumbaa's journeys while The Lion King is going on. So it's sort of like a prequel in-between-quel kind of thing. So there's a lot to dislike about this movie, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't need to exist for any reason whatsoever. But I gotta admit, it's kind of charming. I kind of like it. I especially love the Dig a Tunnel song. I mean, if you hear that once, try getting it out of your head, I dare you. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stupid things in the movie, and I don't like how the soundtrack kind of sucks. I mean, not the in-movie songs, but like the soundtrack, whatever that song is, that like rapish kind of song, I don't know what it's called. So yeah, in terms of the movie itself, it's nothing to shake a stick at. To be honest, I could care less about the movie, but at the same time, I kind of like it too. I mean, it's fun and it's catchy, and while it has no real reason to exist, to be honest, it's just one of those movies where sometimes it's like, let's just watch it, who cares, you know? So maybe it does make me feel a little bit guilty because I know it's not, objectively speaking, it's not that great of a movie, but it's kind of close to my heart in that regard because I used to rent it a lot when I was a kid, and it was one of those movies I just watched over and over and over again. So yeah, it's probably a little bit of nostalgic bias, but now that I'm an adult and my tastes have changed, it does make me feel a little bit guilty that I still like that movie. But you know what? To each his own, I say. If you like that movie, great. If you hate it, awesome. I'm kind of in between. There's some things I like, some things I hate. So that's number 5. Number 4 is Trauma Center's Second Opinion for the Nintendo Wii. Now, I've had this game for a while. This is a game I used to rent a lot as well. And this is a game where you play as a surgeon, Derek Stiles, who has the healing touch. So he's like a descendant of the god of medicine, and he can heal people with the healing touch. And so you have to go around with your nurse, Angie, and cure guilt, which is a man-made super virus. It's really stupid. The thing that makes me like this, though, is that the gameplay is actually super fun. Now, it's strange because it actually kind of reminds me of Guitar Hero, the way that you develop skills. Is that you're going to be really shit at first, but slowly over time you're going to develop your skills and it becomes a lot more fun. Now, I'm pretty good at this game. I've never beaten it all the way, all of the extreme challenges, those are too hard. But I've beaten the game lots of times. So the reason this makes me feel guilty is because the story is just so stupid. I mean, it's an Atlas game, so you kind of have to expect the story to be a little bit on the stupid side, but it's the gameplay that really makes me enjoy it. I also love the soundtrack. They often talk about great video game soundtracks, and while I don't think this one is amazing, it does have some really good songs in it, so I recommend checking out the soundtrack. The good thing is that even someone like me, who's very squeamish about human innards and everything like that, actually can enjoy this game because it's not overly detailed or anything like that. It has blood, it has gore, but it's not disgusting or anything like that. It's like, it's on the lower end side. So this is the kind of game where you defuse a bomb with surgical equipment. It's pretty dumb, but at the same time, it's a very fun game, and I live streamed this a while ago. Every so often I find myself coming back to this game, and while the story just makes me slap my face and go, oh god, makes me cringe, you know, the gameplay is something that's always worth returning to. So yeah, that's number 4. And number 3 is the Just series of books by Andy Griffith. Now, I have 5 of these books, okay? I've been reading these books for a very, very long time. Oh, sorry, 6 books. I have 6 of them. They are very stupid books, okay? They're about a kid named Andy who is just a prankster and an asshole to everybody, and that's kind of it. You know, it's just a story about an asshole kid. Now, there was actually a cartoon adaptation of this called What's with Andy that adapted some of these stories into cartoon form. Now, the stories, to me, are perfectly acceptable. they're just very generic, in my opinion, you know, nothing special. What I love about this series of books, though, is the illustrations done in the corners of the pages. Now, nearly every single page has illustrations of some sort in them, and holy fuck are some of them funny. They're drawn by Terry Denton, and every single book has these drawings in them, and it just, every so often I find myself thinking back to these drawings and just shitting my pants laughing, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it kind of makes me embarrassed and a little bit guilty that one of my favorite book series is this Just series, because it's so juvenile, and yet, fucking hell, these drawings, they are just great. I don't know anybody else who knows about these books. They kind of remind me of this old series of short movies that my brothers and my friends and I made called the Joke Movies.
And now hockey! Okay, we see John Noodle coming up with the puck here. He's got it. Oh, he makes a shot. He doesn't score.
Where I think they're hilarious. They were made when I was like 6 years old. It was the first movie I ever appeared in. And, like, I think they're hilarious, but nobody else does. It's probably because you have to be there. And I feel like this series of books is kind of like that. Where it's like they're funny because you had to be there. Sort of thing. But it just... I mean, if you can get your hands on these books and you're okay with the juvenile humor, I would say just get them, if you can find them, because the drawings and the margins and the sides are just fucking hilarious, I guarantee it. You might feel a little bit dumb and a little bit juvenile, a little bit guilty for reading these, but I guarantee you'll laugh. You will laugh. I like, why would I lie about that? Come on, these are hilarious. And that's number 3. Now, number 2 is a tie between Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and Spider-Man 3. Now, both of these are guilty pleasures for the same reasons. A lot of people hate these movies, particularly Spider-Man 3. A lot of people hate Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and I'm not sure why, to be honest. I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember loving this movie. And it's stupid, obviously. I mean, all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are stupid. Everyone treats the first one like it's some sort of masterpiece, or at least really good. I wouldn't say this is any worse than the first one. To be honest, it's silly as hell. I mean, and Johnny Depp is really strange in it, for sure. It has some really stupid moments, like Johnny Depp laying an egg, and the fact that he has the rescue party go to rescue him, and then he doesn't need rescuing at all. Just a big waste of time. So yeah, there's a lot to dislike about this movie, but just like Lion King 1.5, there's a lot of things to like about it too. I mean, it has that massive climax, which, yeah, they gather the whole army of pirates and everything like that, and then only the Black Pearl fights in the vortex. And that's kind of dumb, I will say, but it's such a spectacular set piece of a climax that how could you not love it? So yeah, I could understand if you don't like this movie, I really can, but for me, I quite like it. It's just, it's very epic in scale, and I don't like using that word epic too much, but what parts it gets right, I think it gets really right, especially the climax. I think it's fun. So yeah, even though this isn't one of my favorite movies by any means, I don't think it's a terrible movie, I just think it's alright. And same thing goes for Spider-Man 3. Now, oh man, people hate this movie. They really hate this movie. I could get it, alright? Spider-Man's superhero, people are really defensive of their superheroes. And while I do really like Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, I loved Spider-Man 3 when it first came out. Maybe that was because I was a gothy teenager or something like that, and it was like, ooh, dark Spider-Man. So, maybe it played to that. But you know what? For all the stupidity that this movie has with dancing Peter Parker and all this shit, and the fucking cookies on the phone scene. Ugh, if you want to talk about a scene that I hate, the cookies on the phone scene, hate that one. But for everything that's stupid about this movie, there are some scenes in it that are just great. I mean, again, I love the ending. Not necessarily the climax, but the ending of the movie. And I actually really like Sandman as a villain, and I like Peter Parker in this, and I actually like Mary Jane Watson more in this one than in the second one, although she is still a bitch. So, yeah, I mean, I can get why people don't like this movie. It's very silly, and it's very memey, too. But for me, I just can't muster up the energy to be mad at it, to be honest. If I ever watch it, some parts of me do go like, you know, it does make me feel a little bit like, ew, why would you still like this? But you know what? I like this better than the fucking Amazing Spider-Man movies. At least Peter Parker looks like Peter Parker in this movie. But anyway, yeah, so Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and Spider-Man 3, I get that they're objectively probably bad movies, but I think there are certain things to like about them, and for me, they're my guilty pleasures. Sure, they're bad, but I like them anyway. And those are number 2. And my number 1 spot is Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. This is a terrible game, alright? I'm not gonna lie, this is a god-awful game. It's a third-person shooter starring Vincent Valentine of Final Fantasy VII, which is a JRPG series. It's a third-person shooter. So, gameplay-wise, this game is horrible, and I would never play it again. What's great about it, though, is that it has a theater option in it where you can watch all the cutscenes, and the story is actually where this game excels. Again, not all the time, but certain parts of the story are actually very appealing. The animation is not great, for the most part. The sound is weirdly compressed for some reason, which is strange for Square Enix. And yeah, the gameplay is just horrendously awful. But there are certain parts of the story, especially the whole part about chaos with Vincent, is very interesting. And yeah, Lucrezia is just a whiny bitch, and Hojo's an asshole, and everything like that. But you know what? Vincent Valentine, I just like anything that he's in, to be honest. He's cool to me. I like Vincent Valentine. In fact, you could almost say that Vincent Valentine is one of my guilty pleasures. So it's sort of like a double whammy here. Not only is the game one of my guilty pleasures, but Vincent Valentine himself is, too. And there's so many dumb things about this game, like Deep Ground is really stupid, and just... But there are certain points of it that are really good. I think Shallua and Shulk's relationship is very interesting. And I think that Vincent's whole story with Chaos and Lucrezia and everything is very interesting too. So, if anything, all I would ever do is just pop this game in and watch the cutscenes. I would never touch the gameplay again. So it's kind of like the opposite of Trauma Center, in that the story in this one is really stupid, but the gameplay is fun. In this one, the gameplay is really stupid, but the story is fun. So, I don't know if I'd even recommend this game, though, to be honest, unless you're like a die-hard Final Fantasy VII fan and you want to see where the story goes. Because if you don't care about Vincent Valentine, why would you bother playing this game? But for me, I like Vincent Valentine, so it's my guilty pleasure, I gotta say. Like, every so often, I'll just pop this game in and watch the cutscenes because I like them. You know what? I have no shame in saying that I like the cutscenes, although I always have to clarify that I really, really hate the gameplay. So, yeah, those are my top 5 guilty pleasures. Maybe they're not astounding or anything like that, but you know what? I try to always be confident and not shameful about the things that I enjoy, because if you're always self-conscious about the things that you enjoy, then you'll never enjoy anything in life. So most everything I have, I can stand behind my enjoyment of them, but for these things, you know, certain things, sometimes I like to keep them a little bit more private. But you know what? That doesn't mean I don't still have fun with them. And that's all I have to say about that.